Hey viewers, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be putting a couple of citrus trees in the ground this afternoon. Thought I'd put together a bit of a video with a couple of tips and techniques that you might find handy if you've recently bought a fruit tree. So let's get stuck into it. So my citrus orchard here that I'm planting on is on a bit of a slope, as you can see. One of the techniques that I use here right in front, as you can see, is this shallow trench line. The reason why I dig this trench line out is to catch as much water runoff when it's raining and funnel that right down into where the fruit tree is planted. That way, I want to ensure that in a couple of years' time, these fruit trees are going to be able to fend for themselves and I'm not going to have to be watering them as often. Another technique that I use, as you can see with this slope that I'm growing on here, so when I'm digging out the hole, all the excess soil and all the grass that I'm digging out, I'm using that and backfilling that across here. That's a way of retaining as much moisture and water runoff when it is raining. It's going to be able to retain all that into the ground here and also direct that into the spot where it needs to be directed, which is down into the root zone. It's important to make sure that you dig the hole at least twice, even maybe 3 times the size of the original pot that the plant comes in. So I've gone ahead and cut away the growing bags that these trees come in. And on top, you're going to notice there's a lot of fertilizer that the nurseries include in. So don't waste that. Sprinkle all that in. I've gone ahead and teased all the roots here to open them up. That's going to make sure that these roots are going to be able to grow into this new soil mix that you've got, rather than leaving them all root bound and all twined up together. Another important tip to consider is making sure that you've cleared well around the perimeter from where the tree is going to be growing. So removing any grass and any weeds from the area. You don't want the new fruit tree having to compete for water or nutrients at all. Now, before you go ahead and backfill and plant the tree, make sure you take a little bit of time to consider its orientation. So directly in here in front is the north facing aspect. So as you can see, I've fanned out these branches. I've shifted the plant around to make sure that the plant is growing acrosswise, so it's going to be able to maximize that north facing sun. Now, another thing that you can notice here as well, this is where the tree has actually had its graft added on as well. So you want to make sure that that is well above soil level. You do not want to be planting the tree up to this level here. Make sure you aim for here. If you do notice any suckers that come, any new growth that's going to come out of this zone here, make sure you rip it out. Now, it's a wise idea at the time of planting. You want to make sure that you feed the plant early on, especially citrus. They're really hungry feeders. We're in winter here at the moment, so look, feeding in winter, it's not generally the thing to do, but I want to make sure that this new tree is going to be able to get as much nutrients as it can. So what I've got here is basically a pelletized chicken manure. And then I've also got this fertilizer that I've been trialing, which is really good and successful. So it's basically a black soldier fly fertilizer compound. So I've just got a nice glass jar here. I'm going to use a whole jar into each hole for each tree and give that a good mix around. It's time to start backfilling all this soil in and finish the planting. So I'm doing this one-handed, obviously, because I've got the camera in the hand, but I'm just going to start turning all this soil through and also mix through all this fertilizer that I've just put in here as well, and start to backfill all this in here as well. You want to make sure that you've compacted this soil down as best as you can so there's no air pockets. Well, that's a wrap. Just got the 6 citrus in. I'm going to give these guys a water and mulch them in. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris, and this is our new hobby farm, Simple Life on 16 acres. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to catching you next time. See you folks, bye.